Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. This is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat where you hang out with me in here and follow me on my sewing journey, usually quilting and machine embroidery. And I hope I can inspire you or motivate you to put something under the needle. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Hello, everyone. Miss Frito is here. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm at a weird place today, so I'm going to back up a little bit so you guys can see her. Yeah. Hello, baby girl. What are you doing? Well, come here. People want to see you. Look at you, so fit and trim. You look good. Your little butt's a wiggling. You're a wiggle butt. Yes. Good girl. And one more turkey. There you go. And then you can have a stick to go brush your teeth. All right? Here, this is a good one. All right, we'll see you. Go brush your teeth. Bye-bye. My friend is babysitting her grand dog. And she says, I can't get this dog to do anything. And I said, well, all you need is a treat. And she says, oh, she doesn't give her dog treats. And I said, oh, okay. That was the end of that conversation. All righty. So, all right, let me get a sip of coffee here. I'm dry this morning. I don't know why. We have, it's very humid here. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. You guys, our weeks just fly by, don't they? Oh my goodness. Try giving the dog carrots. Okay. Well, mine's not a real fan of carrots. She prefers beef. Yeah. All righty. Let me see. Here's a good question. We got an brilliance question right off the top. Patty wants to know. Nope, that's not the right one. Sorry, Patty. All right. Let me see what happened to it. Is this it? If you can take a pot holder design that is 10 by 10 and make 14 by 14 for the 10 needle jumbo hoop. No, ma'am, you cannot. You cannot. Usually, if you want to resize a design, so resizing a design, an embroidery design is not like resizing an image. They're not pixels, they're stitches, right? So stitches don't change. And if you put it into the machine, like the 10 needle, and try to enlarge it, generally, if you're like on mine, I have the Brother 10 needle, and it has software in the brain of the machine. If you try to enlarge it, it'll stop at a certain point where it knows that those stitches are just not going to resize any farther, generally about a half an inch, because they end up, my gosh, you guys are chit-chatting like crazy, because those stitches, they don't know where to go. So not like pixels. It's a little bit different. Anyway, Vicky wants to know if the blue bonnets are in bloom yet. Well, Vicky, we don't have any where I am because we didn't get any rains in February, but we went up to Canton and they were all along the highways starting, north of Austin area and then on up. But our little southern belt down here, we just did not get enough rain. Yeah. So, and most digitizers will recommend that you do not resize their designs any more than half an inch. It just does not work well. You're going to get you'll be unhappy with the result. So I'm sitting here at my desk this morning because yesterday we cut out all the pieces for that little Easter wall hanging I'm doing from on Wander Lane. And I want to show you how I got the design. So I'm going to jump in right here and make sure my screen is up. Okay. And I have an obscenely large pointer. I'm hoping you'll be able to see it so you know where I am. I changed my pointer. And let me get in here and take a look at this. Okay. Now let me look down. I want to know if you guys can see that big green pointer. Yes. Yay. That's awesome. All right. So there was a question yesterday. Somebody said, what if the graphic, the layout design is much smaller than the picture. And it usually comes in smaller. So let me see if I can see that layout design. I'm going to come up here to the Stitch Artist icon, and I'm going to bring this in. There it is right there. All right. So when you have this design, and I think where it is in number 4. Yeah, it's right here. Once you get it to the size you want it, you want to lock it. But y'all, you always resize the graphic, not the embroidery design. Okay. Not your FCM images. Don't the FCM file, the shapes that the Scan and Cut scanned, because that's the actual size of the pattern piece. So never resize those. Let me unclick the lock up here on this image. You always want to grab the corner of the image and size it up and down. And what I usually do is I will choose, like when I first got this thing, pulled it in, it was about this big. Okay, this is about where it was. And so I thought, well, let me find a piece. The eggs are really similar in size, and so are the leaves, and the chicks are the same, but the butterfly is kind of unique. So I looked for the bottom part of the butterfly, and I just kind of sized it up. Okay, and there's a green point, a green square, you can grab it. And then I just put it on here and keep playing with the image until it's about the same size as the pattern piece. Don't resize the pattern piece. That's a little tiny bit big. So that gives you a really good idea of how to that's how the stuff is going to go together. And I'm a little off right now. But anyway, so I can't tell what's what. And you always want to resize from the corner so it scales proportionately. Okay. That's pretty close. Anyway, I'm kind of looking at this chick here. So that's what you do with those. So I'm going to come up here. If you put the picture in and you can't see it, I am in Stitch Artist 3, but if you put the picture in and you can't see it, click on this little tree with the sun behind it, and that will make the picture turn on and off. Now, where the I can't see y'all's comments, so just FYI, I'm looking at my Embrilliant screen. So where putting all of these pieces into the right order were no trouble whatsoever, none at all. When you get to a piece of applique, so for instance, on the body of the butterfly, if you look here, if I click a piece of the applique, whether it's the leaf or, you know, there's an egg or whatever. Okay. So down here on the border, I changed it to blanket because I don't like the E-stitch, which is the default. And my stitch length is 2 and my stitch width is 3. And that's pretty good for all of these little bit bigger pieces. The body of the butterfly is very small. So if I come down here to, there's the body of my butterfly right there. Look what I did here. I changed my stitch length to 1.5 and stitch width 1.5. So if you were here yesterday, you'll recall that I mentioned these are the objects. This is the, see, it says objects up here. This is the objects panel. These are the objects that make up what's on the screen. Okay. And then each one of these has its own properties. And this is the properties box. And these tell you what the properties are for each object. Now, along in here, you're going to see some runs. Okay. These are the little antenna for the butterfly right there. I just made one. And then I did a copy paste and a horizontal flip so that they are identical. That turned out really well. And where the time really came in on this one, for the beaks, oh, hold on a second. I made a little fill. Okay, let me scroll in here and show you. You can hold down your space bar and your cursor turns into a hand and you can pan around. Okay, all I did to make this was to come up here to the drawing section and I grabbed the draw with points, click that, and I just made a triangle. I'll show you. Hold on a second. Let me bring that image back in and scroll out. Hold on a second. Let me find my image. Let me escape. Okay. I'm going to show you how I did this. Let me take the image and move it. Let me move it up. Okay. I'm moving that up just a little bit. So I'll zoom back in. You always want to zoom in so you can see what you're doing. So now I'm just going to take the Draw with Points tool and hold down my Shift key so it knows that I want straight lines and not curves. I'm going to hold down the Shift. I'm going to put it right inside of the bird's face. And I'm going to click, and I'm holding down my Shift key and click again and come back down here and click again. And then you can click again right here, or to close it up, you can just click the tomato right there, and that will close it, and it'll make sure you get a complete solid object. And it kind of curves it. Well, I could have held down the Shift key. Anyway, not a big deal. And then these are the drawing. See, it says draw right here. And these are your drawing tools. And I don't use these down on the bottom except for this one right here. But I mostly use these two and the little tomato. Well, this is the stitch. What type of stitch do I want that drawing to be? So I want it to be a fill. And there's the fill right there. So it's a fill. And then all I have to do, and I just click it with a button, it's done. And then I come over here to color and I change the color to orange. Okay, and I'm just going to type in, and it's orange. So that's how I made the beak. Too stinking simple, right? I'm going to hit delete. I don't want that to stitch out. Okay, and then where the real time came in to make this. So number 4 over here in my objects panel is all of the applique. But where the time came in is these. And let me do this one. You can see this here. Let me make that image go away. Where it came in was creating these stitches for the little ferns or whatever they are. The greenery and the design took forever. Now, it took a lot less time than it would have if I was doing it by hand. All right. So let me bring that back in and I'll show you. Let me make the stitches go away. I'm going to click the eyeball. And that makes the stitches go away so they're not distracting. But all I have to do to make the ferns, I'll show you real quick. Let me click off that. I'm going to create design and begin new design so that it doesn't go on to anything that I have. You come up here to this second one. This is the Bezier tool, meaning it's going to draw with curves, where it says draw with Bezier. I imagine that means curves in French. I have no idea. So you just need to click like 3 little points. Okay, so I'm going to click down here and I'm going to click here to give it an idea of where I want it to go. This is as far as I want it to go. And then right there, all right, let me zoom in. And then I'm going to hit the tomato to close it up. And then you just come back over here and see how it's a straight line. Well, when your cursor turns into a black doolally with a squiggly, you can just grab that line and pull it, and it naturally will curve itself out like that. Okay, and that's it. And you can copy and paste these if you want and then resize them. And then I took the straight line right here and I just drew a straight line and made sure that where these little things met in the middle on each one of these, as I drew them down here, that I was able to tap it. And then you just hit enter. Now, what do I want these 2 stitches to be? That's a mess, isn't it? I'm just goofing around. I didn't take the time. This is the line. Remember, this is the drawing section. I want these to be a run stitch, and that's that single little one right there. I'm going to turn it into a run stitch, and I want it to be a double run. Let me turn the stitches back on. So you can see there it is. All right. And it's easy to do that. But I did take the time to kind of get them straight. You can see this here. So I'm going to do this. And it takes some time. Once you get used to drawing with, let me turn that image off. It's distracting. Once you get used to drawing with, and those are the only tools that I used, you guys. Okay. Once you get used to drawing with these, you'll be off to the races. All right. It was so simple to do. Now, I tried to do the tiny little buzzy trail stitch right here, And in the final design, the software put it all together for me into a single line, and I didn't like that. So I am either going to leave it just like this, or I might be able to get it done on the luminaire. But I like to do this for people who don't have a luminaire. We don't need that buzzy trail. Okay, so I have my little grass stitches and all of that. So there, that's how I did that. All right. Oh, look at you. You should be happy with that. Very, very good. You just tapped a button and it went ta-da, and you said, yay, look at me. I'm good to go, right? Very cool. So it is a great feeling when you start to play with this and you say, oh my word, look what I did. Look what I did. I was able to do that. And then what happens is your brain goes, oh, wait a minute. I can take a drawing that my grandchild made, a little stick people, and I can scan that in, and then I can just draw the little stick people, and it says, I love you on the bottom, right? Yay. Yeah. So anyway, that is a lot of fun. So that's pretty much what I did. You guys saw me change. Let me see. So, okay, you guys had wanted to see that. I just wanted to take a few minutes and show you how I did what I did. Also, one of the things I did, let me jump back to Embrilliance. Another thing that I did in Embrilliance was I scrounged up. So this is my 6x10 hoop, and I scrounged up a Designs by Juju Daisy's background quilting 8x10. Now, I could have very easily right on here. I can, let me click it. Right click and copy, and then come back over here, right click and paste. Okay. It's going to be way bigger than I need. I'm going to be trimming it down, but I wasn't really sure because I think I'm going to do about a 7x7 is the total on that. So that's why I chose the 8x10. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to do that as background quilting, but I'll just add that together in the embroidery machine is what I'll do. I'll add that in. Okay. Why can't you find the design, Wander Lane? Chicks, you use the link. Laura, you have to buy the book. It's in the book. The pattern is in the book. So, oh, well, good, John. I'm glad. She says, I'm on your level. I know your name's not John. You're on your husband's account. I know that. But, well, good, Sally. I'm glad you're doing this. So these are just little bitty baby steps. Y'all take it one step at a time, celebrate your successes. And then if you're up to it, keep on going. Okay. You don't have to do the whole 9 yards all at one time. So, alrighty. I'm going to switch cameras and go over there, and we're going to go to the embroidery machine and stitch this cutie out. Okay. So I need to add this to the stage. There's my little other side of my room. Let me remove me. Unmute my mic. Okay. Field trip. Dave says, everyone find your partner and hold hands, stay together. You're so funny, Dave. Let me turn on Darla. My embroidery machine this morning is the Brother Luminaire XP3. She started as an XP1 and got all of the upgrades, and so now is an XP3. And told, okay, not that I use any of those things in the XP3. I don't know. I just wanted them, right? That's one things we do. And the other camera here is facing to the machine, so I can zoom in. It's got a really good zoom on that. All right. I think we are working. All right. I think everything is fine. I'm not hearing anything from you guys that you can't hear me or see me. So there we go. So Janelle says Stitch Artist is way too much money. Janelle, any good embroidery software, high-end embroidery software is very, very expensive. I get that. But if you save just a little bit, you know, each month, put a little aside for your embroidery fund, and then jump, you know, and get Stitch Artist 2 until you can swing Stitch Artist 3. And, you know, if it's only $25 a month, then this time next year, you're going to be stitching. That's kind of the way I do that. Renelle, thank you. She says, you're doing great. Good, good, good. Thank you. All right. Yesterday we cut out all of the pieces. They are still on the mat. And again, do not change the design sizes over in Embrilliance or in your software. You don't want to do that because then your pre-cut pieces won't fit. We don't want that, right? Okay. Y'all so cute. Betsy sent me an email this morning with it, or maybe it was last night. She did the Mr. and Mrs. Bunny from Amy Bradley Designs, and everything turned out absolutely perfect. And she was so excited. She emailed me a picture of them, and they're just precious. And she's like, everything worked out perfectly. The pieces fit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it just does my heart good. Do you need anything higher than Stitch Artist 2? I recommend Stitch Artist 3 only because if you run into troubles with graphics, Stitch Artist 3 can fix that for you without you having to possibly redraw them, which you can. You can edit stitches in the Stitch Simulator in Stitch Artist 2. You can redraw designs, which I have done before, but I just got, you know, time is money kind of thing. So, and then Embrilliance makes it really nice because if you have Stitch Artist 2, you can just buy the upgrade, which is a couple $100 more as opposed to having to buy the whole thing again, which is really nice. So, and don't forget, through April 8th, almost said February, it's April, Becky. Through April 8th, there is a 10% coupon. It's in the description box. Please use my link. I appreciate that very much. So, all right. Connie says she's saving money for Stitch Artist 3. You have 1 and 2. So if you have 2, you automatically have 1. If you have 3, you automatically have 1 and 2 because they include, it's a buildable, okay? It builds on each other. So, all righty. So also yesterday, now my hoop, I am using the Whisper Weave white for a background. Okay. That's going to be my background. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I had 2 strips of batting scraps. All right. And I gave myself a straight edge and taped them together. Thank you all. 2 strips of batting scraps and taped them together. This is the best use for batting scraps. And then I hooped. Last month I showed how to hoop in the this. This is the 9x14 dime magnetic hoop, and it has no-show mesh in it. I didn't pre-shrink it because I'm not going to wash this little wall hanging. Okay. All righty. So I'm going to put this in the machine, and I probably have enough bobbins since it's an applique. I keep looking at the screen over there. I should be looking at you. And I'm going to pull up. Where's my mouse? Let me see here. What am I doing? Ah, yes. Different camera. No. That didn't work. That worked before. Yeah, different camera. We're good. We're good. I got to know which screen I'm looking at, y'all. And I want to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. There. A little bit closer. Okay. I'm going to go into embroidery and the pocket for memory. And I sent it over wirelessly. And that big daisies. There it is, 8x10. There's the design. I'm going to tell it set. All right. Now I'm going to touch add. Where do I want to get it from? From the pocket in the memory. Wireless. And it's OWL. And these are alphabetical. And chicks. There it is. Set. Perfect. I need to put my thread in here. Okay. So, let's see. What's my design? Let me do embroidery. I think that is just quilting. Let me go to the needle plus minus and look. Yeah, that's just quilting. So I'm going to lay all my fabric and my batting and everything down right now so that it can be stitched out. I'm putting the tape part down. So, because you'll never see that. And then this, one side, there we go. That's the right side. Okay. I have a 70 weight pre-wound bobbin in here from Dime. I should have put these together outside of the hoop. And I want to make sure that I don't need to tape the edges down. So I'm going to run just a little stitch here, or not a stitch, but I'm going to do a trace and make sure it works. All right. I also, yesterday, I pulled all of my threads, okay, that go with each piece of the embroidery, the applique. So I've got a cream right here that is actually for the lighter color egg. And I'm going to use this cream on this bright white fabric. And that way maybe you can see the background quilting a little bit. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go this way and back this out. So I put both of the ends together and I just twist them a little bit with my finger, create a big loop, wrap the tails around behind, and then pull the tails through the loop and do a single knot. I like to run my thread through the thread guide on the top of the machine. That's really designed for making bobbins, but that makes me happy. So it's neither here nor there, I imagine. And auto thread, which I love. Okay. And a little loop. All right. And I want to do a trace. Let me do okay. Let me hit my trace function. Make sure I don't need to, wait, trace that. Okay. So I can see I don't need to tape down the edges of my fabric. Very good. All right, I'm ready to go. Friend of mine sent me a picture of an x-ray with a needle in somebody's finger. Y'all don't put your hands near that needle, ever. I do put my hands in the stitching field. You will see that, but I am a good 2 to 3 inches away. But you have to watch, because if you're relying on that hoop, it's going to move you around. My shirts say, you love my shirts? Bonnie, this shirt says, if you walk a mile in my shoes, you'll end up in a fabric store. I get this shirt from Allie MTs. I have a link to them below in all of my shirts and merch and all that. In the description box where it says more ... click that and it'll open up and go all the way down to around my sewing room. Also, I got a lot of questions yesterday about where do you get that elastic cord and toggles that I use to align my quilts on the long arm. I put the link right below in featured items so you can find it. So, all righty. The whole Snapplique blows your mind. I'm turning hand applique into an embroidered applique. Yes, Sandra. Yes, I am. Yeah. I don't hand stitch well. I don't care for it. I've got osteoarthritis in my hands. You see those big old knuckles? It's not my idea of a good time. And so now I did not do a test stitch out on this. We'll see how it goes. But yes, you can mimic hand stitching, which I showed you how to do that just at the other computer, but you can mimic hand stitching.
So what about Sweet Pea Designs? Are they well designs? Yes, Maureen, they are. They're wonderful. Sweet Pea Designs are. I'm an affiliate for them too, but I haven't figured out how to do all of the paperwork for them. They're down in Australia and they're using this new app. And I told Annette at Houston, I was like, I haven't figured that out. I'm sorry. That's why I don't do a lot of her designs. Oh, this coffee's so good. Goodness, goodness. Yay. Subscribe, you guys. Can I show you how to trim the block after it's done with embroidery? Sure, Charlene. Yeah, I can do that. If you have a trimmer by George, you can do that. With this one, am I going to trim it? Let's see. I've got to trim up all of those. I have to trim up all of the blocks on the Kimberbell. They need to be 6x8. And I use orange pop rulers for those. Now, that is a Kimberbell product, orange pop rulers, and they're for centering and trimming. Let me see here. Okay. So this is my Kimberbell thing. And this is where I have all my rulers. Okay. So you don't have to buy orange pop rulers if you don't want to, obviously. But what I do with these, what's this one? If I can see it. Oh, let me look at mine. This is the 6.5 by 8.5. So this is the one I need to use to trim all of those blocks. Okay. So I love this thing. That's awesome. So I keep a rotary cutter in here. So if I'm going to a Kimberbell event, I'll just love it. Half of it's doesn't have anything in it. There are my clear blue tiles with all the marking pens and everything. Okay. Candy corn quilt shop. Gotta love that. And all of my Kimberbell USBs are in here. Okay. So again, you don't have to use these fancy rulers. What you can do is you can measure out on a piece, like get a piece of cereal box. That didn't sound good. You can get a piece of cereal box or a piece of cardboard or cut up an Amazon box. Okay. And what you do is you measure out 6.5 by 8.5. And that'll be your hole. And then go another 1.5 inches or 2 all the way around and draw lines. Okay. And then you will cut out on both sets of lines and you'll get yourself a template. You don't have to do this. Okay. I love them and they're fabulous. But if you need to make one, you can. Okay. So there's no need because these are pricey, but oh my goodness, they are so nice. These have the little cuts in them here at the bottom. See the little cuts? That's for your rotary blade to fit into. That's really a nice feature. But what you can do if you're just centering like with a cardboard, you can mark your points and just make, and then cut the sides, right? And then you can trim them out later. So maybe while we're doing some stitch, this is actually the longest stitch. It's 6 minutes and it's almost finished. So you can make one on your scan and cut. You certainly can, depending on the size of cardboard that you use, the depth of cardboard. All right, so next I'm going to use my dark green thread. I think, do I want dark green? Yeah. The dark green or the light green? What's it going to be? I can look at the picture and try to match the picture. It doesn't matter. One is dark green and one is light green. This is the light green thread. Okay. So lighter green. Okay. Michelle gave me a stash and store, so I put the long one. So I put all my little embroidery tools in it. Right there. Oh, and let me heat up my iron. There we go. I need that cream again for the cream egg. So now we're just going to sit around and do a bunch of thread changes until this all gets done. All right. So we're going to see how well my digitizing of hand stitching worked. I pull the thread, unthread the needle, and then pull it through. I made all of those double runs instead of single runs. Okay. Got a little tail. It's going to do each one and do a little tie off. This says this is going to take 2 minutes. Will I show how I change my threads? Okay. Next color change. We'll do it real slow, okay? I have 2 sergers. No, Bernadette. One is a serger, one's a cover stitch. Yeah. How's my chair doing for me? Wonderful, Julie. I love it. It's not super cushy, and I like a firm chair, okay? I do have a cushion that I could sit on if I wanted, but that hurts my back. I like a firm chair. So my chairs are great. Thank you all so much. I have these because of y'all. Thank you. So, all right. This is taking its time. I'm going to find that block and trim it out. What did I do with those? Here they are. Okay. So I need to trim all these blocks out to 6.5 by 8.5. So let me show you how to do that. While this is stitching. I'm going to turn the camera around. You guys hold on. Hold the handles. There's my dog. She's on point. Okay. These work so well. I got a lot of stuff in my way. Let me move things. Now, I like to use either a rotary mat or a mat on a mat. Okay. So I have a big Martelli rotary mat, but it's on the other side of the table. So I'm just going to use a mat on a mat. Okay. Show you how I cut these. All right. So you just need to center. Now these had a cutting line on them. Just need to center it like that. Whoop. Okay. Oh, that turned out beautiful, man. All right. So now what I do, let me make sure it's super straight. Now these little lines that are in here are going to be captured in the seam allowance. Okay. Do just like this. Okay, that looks good. So then you take your rotary cutter. No, you cut. So right-handed, I'm going to cut the left side first. I want to go up this side. Trim this. If you're left-handed, you'll cut on the right side. If you're right-handed, you cut on your left side so that you've got the edge of the ruler to go straight. Watch your finger. Okay. Again, you can do this with a piece of cardboard, but I've cut my cardboard plenty of times. So that's why I invested in these. Okay. These are the greatest thing. And y'all I know budget is a thing, but if you can swing it, please support Kimberbell and don't get the cheap Chinese knockoffs. Okay. Here we go. Look how perfect that is. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love it. This one gets something done to it. I'm not going to do that yet. I need to read the instructions and make sure. I think I just need to put the little sign on there. Look how easy this is. But creating your own centering rulers is really quite easy. Now, if you don't have these, of course you can use a big square ruler. It's a little bit more of a challenge, but let me get one and I'll show you. Okay, Stripology has centering marks on them. The big one does. Here's an Creative Grids. So I can see the edge of this thread right here, okay? And I know that, so you need to find center between these, okay? So the way I would do this is take an iron away pen, all right? And I know that this needs to be 6.5 by 8.5. So that's 3 1/4. So I'm going to put the 3 1/4 line on the stitch line. I want to mark that. And I can see the stitch line. It's in white. You guys can't see it. So I'm going to put my 3 1/4 mark right here. Okay. And make sure that this is on, the stitch line is on the 3 1/4. And I'm going to put the mark right here. So now I know where center is, just to be sure. And then I'm going to put my 3 1/4 mark on the, so now I'm measuring this, and then I would cut this edge. And you do the same thing this way with the 8.5, you'd mark it 4 1/4 and then cut that. Okay. That's it. That's hard. This is way easier. So that's how you do that. Yeah, the shipping costs are high. I know. I'm sorry. It's probably much more reasonable if you're shipping them to Japan. I'm sure it's probably much more reasonable to get the cheap Chinese knockoffs. I know. Okay, let's take a look at my hand stitching, shall we? I'm feeling pretty froggy right now. Where's my button? Here it is. Look at my hand stitching. Oh my. Now you got to put your hand stitching down first. Let me find those other little grass. Look at that. Yeah. Thank you in brilliance. Let me hold it still. Hold it still, Becky. Zoom in and up, too far. Can you get it, camera? There you are. That is why I do what I do, because I can't do that otherwise. That is not in my bag of tricks. Okay, so you wanted to see how I change my threads. We'll do it again, because now I'm going to do that's darker than I expected. I'm going to do a lighter thread. I don't have in there. Do I have it in there? Hold on. Yeah, I have a lighter thread. Okay, all right. So we'll get real close so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I cut the thread up here on my side, the piece facing me, okay? And I leave a nice long tail so I have room to make a knot. I've got plenty of tail. Don't cut it down here, then you don't have any room. So I cut it up here. So I've got a tail, okay? And then I'm going to take this light green. Now I've got this tail. Here we go. So I'm putting the tails together and I hang. I wish I had something you guys could see. Hold on. Nope, that's not a piece of paper. I don't have, I'm looking for something white that I can put behind it so you guys can see what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get in here. Button, button. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see those threads, those long threads? Nope, you can't. There. All right, so what I do, you can see those long threads hanging. I just put them together so that they're friends. I put my finger behind it and just do a little twist so that they're one. There's two threads in there now and they're one. Now I bring them up and I put this thread and I make a loop. And I just hold it with my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to put the tails so that they drop right behind the loop. And then I reach through the loop and grab my two tails and tie a knot. And that's it. That's the only, that's as simple as it is. That's the way they do it in industry to rethread all those machines. Okay. All right. And then I unthread the needle from the front. I grab the thread and I just pull it through. And everybody's happy. So easy to do. Once you get that down, you'll be whipping through thread changes like nobody's business. Yeah. I'm just hoping that I got the starting and ending points of all of those threads in the right spot. Okay. This looks good. I kind of press this down in to get a cut down to the mat. Okay. Perfecto. Love it. Yeah, you don't have to have these. They just make your life so much simpler. Let's see, this is trash. Next. Who's next? Let's see here. These two still need to be stitched. And the thing that's nice about doing a ruler that has a hole in it is when you've got like this, that's some kind of, maybe I didn't stitch that right. Did I not stitch that right? That's strange the way that did that. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna have to take that basting stitch out. That didn't go there. This is very puffy. And so a flat ruler won't want to sit. It'll wobble on that. And you don't want that. So this is just nicer to, if you've got a hole in it. You can always get by, you guys. All these fancy tools are something that somebody made to make your life a little bit easier. But I will say, when I have to do this kind of trimming, I always reach for the orange pops, even if I'm doing something that's not Kimberbell. Yeah, I got a basting stitch there I need to pull out. Okay. There's that one. Okay. This is trash. And one more. I better pull the bunny out or I'll lop off his little ears. Yeah, super cute. This one has that same, that's really weird. Oh, I didn't do the surrounding stitch on that one. Okay. What is next? 2 projects at once. Yay. I love being super productive. Chick feet. Let's use black. Okay. Oh, leave you on. Put these back. Okay. That was really a challenge yesterday, drawing that all the little greenery. It was tedious, but I sat there thinking, oh my goodness, I would hate to be doing this by hand right now. Absolutely hate it. So to get it done and have it turn out so pretty is nice. You just have to remember to start it just a little tiny bit up under the piece so you don't see the end. I mean, it's not, you know, the end of the world if you see the end, but okay. And chick feet. And the chick feet need to start up under the body, okay? I got a little jump stitch on that one. Sometimes Lisa Shaw explained that in the embroidery class. When your stitches are really small, the software will automatically put a little jump stitch, even if, especially in fonts, even if it is programmed to cut the jump stitches. So I'll have to trim those, and that's fine. What's next? My leaves. Okay, back to, oh, where'd they go? The darker green. I need to see which dark green I wanted. I think it's the really dark is the one that I used. Yeah. Okay. So this is applique position stitch for the leaves. Now, if you're using a multi-needle, this is the time where you really need to pay attention to your programming to make sure you program in your stops properly. You want to make sure that all of your stitches are different colors so your machine doesn't do you a solid and put them all together in one, which the Brother 10 needle will do for you. It'll say, hey, here's a bunch of black stitches. They're all the same. Let's merge them into one stitch, which is fine, except it won't stop when you need it to, so you can iron your stuff down. And that'll be a problem. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. All righty. So what I did in my embroidery design, once you get to the full, like the PES format that I'm using, and you can do it in your Jeff or Husqvarna or whatever you want. Don't do it in the BE file is the working file. It's the final embroidery design. That's where you want to go in and rearrange your stitch order. So I put all of my leaf placement lines together so they stitch one after the other. And that's what's going to happen right now. Because I'm cool like that. It's really more efficient to get everything done at once and then iron them all down at one time. Okay. I also have my quilter's cut and press. Okay. Always do your work outside of, if you pull the hoop, do it on a firm flat surface. Quilter's cut and press is fantastic. You can do it in your lap. Don't lean it on the side of your table. You can pop the hoop. You can use Design Center on the Luminaire to draw the leaves. You can. I have done as much, but I was in this software, so why not just do it, right? Plus, I already had the shapes. I scanned in the shapes. The scan and cut did it for me. I don't have to draw those. What I had to draw was the little greenery. Now, again, because the paper pattern, and we did not inflate, and I created the design, no inflate is needed. And these should fit absolutely perfect. So there's one big one and 3 little ones. And the big one fits perfecto, okay? Y'all, this is life-changing. This method is absolutely life-changing. Now, if you want slow, you can go back and watch the ghost video on Happy Halloween. I go step by baby step. I also do that. You can, on my channel, you can search Snapplique. You can just search Snapplique and it has 2 P's. Just like Applique has 2 P's, so does Snapplique. You can search that in the YouTube search box and it'll come up and you can take a look at, I've been doing this for years. You can even search just Applique before I came up with the term Snapplique, before you guys came up with the term Snapplique. All right. I'm just going to, this looks good. Come here, iron. Don't swish, just smush. Purdy. Just adhere that down. I like that cream thread on that white background. You can really see the background quilting. Pretty pretty. Very nice. While these are warm, you can scorch your finger and mush them around if you want. Put this over here. Oh, I need to put that right there. Okay. That looks good. Okay. Now for the blanket stitches. Now it's stopping because it's covered by an egg and it's doing a jump. So I removed, the software automatically removes the hidden stitches. No swish, smoosh only. That's right, Robin. That's how we roll here. Okay, you guys, our first hour is up. It's already been an hour. If you have to leave, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Before you go, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're watching on your TV, then grab your channel remote, TV remote, and hit the channel up button. I really appreciate that, or whatever they have you do for Roku or whatever it is you guys are using. And I will see you back here tomorrow for Giveaway Friday. But I really appreciate you spending your morning with me and starting your day. I love that. Or ending your day, as the case may be for you folks that are going to go to bed down under. All right. Also, consider subscribing so we can spend more time together, and hit that little bell so you get a notification every time I put a video out. All righty. Things are looking good here. So we're going to keep going, y'all, and I'm going to finish this up. Bye, Joyce. Have a great day. Appreciate you. Check my hoop. What's wrong with my hoop? I got a little piece of thread I saw. I can see that. What's wrong with my hoop? I got a big old tail over there. I got a big jump thread that didn't cut for some reason. That's okay. It's cut now. All right, next. Okay. I got a lot of folks in Australia that watch. Let's see. On my chair, my arm, can I adjust it straighter so you sit more upright? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm not slouching. I don't think I am. Okay, so what's next? Egg number 1. What is, let me look at the picture so I grab the right applique piece. What is egg number 1? That looks like the red one. Yes, that's the red egg. Now we're going to play puzzles. So I need to change my thread. You can do this all in one color too if you wanted. I don't want. Alrighty. My red thread. See how I kind of pull that thread toward me a little bit to give me a longer tail. I like using a little bin to hold my threads because they have a tendency to wander around. You'll be looking for something and it just, I don't know where it goes. I don't know what happens to it, but it is just so much easier to have them all in one place. Just toss them in there. I don't even bother doing the caps on the bottom or any of that cut to contain the tails. I just need to make sure that the body of the spool is where I want it to be. Got a little tail here. Okay. Oh, it fits perfect. The eggs are kind of hard because they're round, but if you just manipulate it just a tiny bit, it'll fit. I think. Okay. I think I cut them in the right pattern order. I think I did. I don't know. If I didn't, we'll work it out. I have the wrong date on the title. Sorry, I'll fix that. No, the knot does not fit through the needle, Deb. No, it does not. The rethreading method just runs the thread through the machine. I unthread the front of the needle. I pull the thread out first from the needle, and then I let the machine automatically thread it. All right, what is next? This egg down on the bottom, and that is the cream colored egg. So again, y'all, I grab this up here to give myself a tail, okay? And now I'm just going to tie it off up here. I tried showing this on a cruise. Oh my gosh, y'all, people got lost. So I just tied these into a single knot. That's all I did. I'm going to drop it up here. I unthread the needle and pull the thread toward me, okay? The thread does not go through the needle. The only thing it's going through is the thread path on the machine. And then I thread the needle, okay? Yeah. I do pull the thread through the needle on my long arm because it will. That hole in that particular needle is quite large, but you got to get it out of the foot and you have to pull it straight to the back and it'll come right out. Bye, Debbie. See you later. Have a good time at the vet. All righty. Cream colored egg. I got thread on me. There we go. Perfect. This is turning out so cute, and I'm not even, they're just starting. Just adorable. See how I got that leaf behind the red egg? Isn't that cool? Let it do the blanket stitch. Makes me happy. Bye, Kim. See you later. You can lower the thread guides so you don't have to reach. Oh, okay. You're short, Pam. I guess I could. It doesn't bother me. It's fine. I could lower my desk. This is a flexi spot, so I could lower the desk if I wanted to. Oh, perfect, perfect. What's next? That little guy right in the front. And that one is the pink. So I need my light pink. Okay. I think it's this one. Double check. I got 2 pinks in there because I got a couple of pink eggs and I have a mauve. That'll do. Right? Yeah, that'll be fine. My darker pink egg and my butterfly all use the same thread, I believe, because I was kind of limited on mauve colors. I said, well, I'll use what works. If anybody looks at it and says something, we won't be friends anymore. We don't want that, right? We don't talk to those people. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. I saw a cute shirt. Anybody says I have, maybe it was a sign. I saw it on Facebook. Anybody who says I have too much fabric, I need to not be friends with them because I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, this is working out so good. So again, the difference between just cutting your own pieces and actually creating the embroidery design. Snapplique is when you don't have an embroidery design to start with. All you have is a paper pattern. So then you scan that paper pattern into the Brother Scan and Cut to create. I think we're going to get through this on the rest of this bobbin. To create a digital image, a vector graphic, and then convert that vector graphic into machine embroidery. Yeah. Kelly, use that all the time. When people say something you don't like, I don't need that negativity. I really don't. Oh, y'all. I won't call it a bad day. I had a rough day yesterday. I had to go get fitted for a bridge. That was not pleasant. I'm still pretty sore. Lower right. Ugh, what egg? The blue egg. So, I love my dentist. She's great. And she had a baby girl about a year ago. And she's going to be a year on the 22nd of this month. And so I told her I'd make her one of Designs by Juju's birth announcements. So maybe we'll do that next week. I need to get it done before I go for the final fitting. And I love my dentist. She's great. It's really nice. She works in a larger dental office in a bigger town, not too far from me, called Seguin. And they have a little satellite dental clinic down. It's called Stockdale. It's a little tiny town, not too far from me. And so she comes from Seguin a couple times a week to see patients. She's amazing. I love her. My mother was in the dental field for decades, and so I really appreciate her work. And they did the coolest thing. Y'all have probably already seen this. So they have a 3D little camera. And, they're in your mouth and they're taking this thing and they're running it all around. And next thing you know, you can see a 3D image of my mouth on the screen and they turn it around and flip it. It was amazing. I was like, my mother used to make bridges the old-fashioned way. Okay, that looks good. Now, if it's going to bother you, let me get in here. See how the blue thread, before you iron your egg down, you want to double check. Where's my egg? You want to double check and make sure that dark green isn't going to show through. Hold on. Now, where am I? Right? So if I take this fabric, I'm going to put it up to it. You really can't see it. But because the software removed hidden stitches, if it bothers you, you can take this and kind of pull it up because it didn't blanket stitch down here. Okay. It didn't do that because it hidden stitches. Now it still has the placement line, but that's nothing, right? So what you can do, that's if it bugs you, because sometimes that'll bug you. You might be working with a white and it's just, you don't want that seen. So what you can do is just go ahead and just trim these. I'm going to leave a tiny little bit, but I'm trimming inside of that line, right? It just came up, that heat and bond. Sometimes it's just enough to hold it down. It's not permanent. So now I don't have those, I won't have any shadows. I couldn't really see it on this one, but if it bothers you, you can do that. And then my little egg is going to fit perfect. Okay. Get that right on there, right where I want it. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Smush, don't swish. Yeah, it is a perfect blanket stitch. You checking that out on that pink? You can really see it. It's beautiful. Yeah, my blanket stitches are to die for. They're excellent. Hey, I designed those. I'm going to claim them, right? You betcha. I can't do that good on a domestic machine. I hate that. And it takes forever. It takes forever to do that. So you can just kind of take a look at that if you ever come across something that's like that. A little gnat in here drive me crazy. Whoop. Orange pop rulers leave the batting in the seam. What does the trimmer by George do? So the trimmer by George is great. Matter of fact, can I do this one here? I'll show you the difference. Okay. Next egg. This is the darker pink one. Hold on. The trimmer by George, you flip over the top of the, oh, hold on a second. Hold the phone. I think I used the wrong color pink. Hold on now. Let me match my pinks again and be sure I've got this right. The trimmer by George removes the batting and the stabilizer at one time. So this is too light. And the other one that's in there is even lighter. So this is not going to work. I need a different pink. Because, you know, I need a different pink. So I don't think I have one up here that's going to work for me. Well, that might. Let me see. Okay. Boy, that was easy. Oh, I already cut it. Let me move this. And Trimmer by George is fantastic for Designs by Juju Designs. It doesn't work well with the block by block quilting, where you've got that extra 1/4 inch that's, I'll show you. Frito, go see Daddy. She went right out the door. She's so smart. I can trim the boot block with the Trimmer by George and show you guys what I mean. This is working out so good. So here's the thing. I wanted to make sure, let me get you in so you can see. I wanted to make sure that like the tips, this thing, not happy. The tip of that started below the egg. Okay. I wanted to see how the base of that stem starts, like right inside that stitch line, just barely inside of it, so that I don't have a gap. It looks like it's coming from behind it. On all of these, that's what you want to do. So make sure to extend your stitch lines so your stems are coming out, but you don't want it so far behind that it leaves a dark line there. So I went zoomed in super close and then made sure that that worked. Okay. There we go. Okay. My eggs. Yay! So happy. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh my goodness. I was really thinking about that for the little feet on the chicks. Because you got black thread, and if your fabric is opaque, sorry, if you can, you don't want to see that black thread up underneath that yellow. Pretty. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, my little orange beaks that I made the little fill. Remember we did the triangle fill? Okay. Whoop. Everything came apart right there. Okay. Now let's make sure these fills are pretty and smooth. This is a Cricut mini press. I much prefer the Oliso, which is over at my my piecing machine. Yeah, the mat. This is an Oliso ironing mat. Very pretty. Okay, time for my birds. Didn't have 2 steps on this because it was just a fill and not applique. You can do this pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Make sure that that end of the beak starts just under that yellow fabric. And here I also did the 2 placement lines at the same time because they're both using the same color thread. So placement lines for both of the chicks at the same time. The legs are perfect. Yay! I know, I get mesmerized too by watching it. It's fun to watch. Very fun to watch. Let me get my little things here, make sure I get the right one. Okay, let me get these correct. I try to put like I know the point on the tail and then rotate the bird from there so that it matches in the lines because the tail is correct. So cute. I've had Cricut mini irons die too. Yeah, I had 2 of them die. Terrible. I don't know why. Love this. Still plenty of bobbin. I think we're going to make it on this one. I know we're going to make it. We've got 2 more wings, which again, I put both placement lines together in that final design and then sent it over. Perfect. Y'all, this makes me happy. Happy, happy, happy. Oh, your Cricut mini press. I have that press. I've got the smaller and the larger. And now the wings. Again, I put the wings together, placement lines first, both of them at the same time. If your pieces do not overlap, you can move your placement lines so that they stitch one right after another. So long as they don't overlap, you're good. If they overlap, that doesn't work because you've got to get the applique piece on the lower one down first. But if they don't overlap, you can certainly do that. That's why I did my leaves, the birds, and their wings like that. Ginger likes watching her chickens. I like watching mine too. Now that that pool has gone out back, I look around and I'm like, I have so much backyard. Oh my goodness. It's too much, too much. Okay. Time for wings on my chickens. They are identical. They're just flipped. And sometimes on smaller pieces, which I probably will do for the butterfly, I will use my tweezers. They are a little bit better at, you know, I got these clunky fingers. There we go. I think this thread is too bright orange. I'm pretty sure that it is because it's the same orange. I'm using the same one that's in the beak, and it's too bright, and I don't like it. Did I pull a darker orange? No. Did I? Let me see. I did not. I'm going to. I'm going to pull a darker orange. Okay. And I think I want to use this one. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. I thought I'd use the same one as the beak, but now that I see it stitched out in that fill, I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Okay. There we go. Pretty, pretty. Thoughts on essential thread? You've used Floriani. Essential. Dimes? No, essential thread. Cindy, who makes essential? All right, next. The little antenna for the butterfly. That's black. There's brilliance, or I'm sorry, dime makes exquisite. When I make my birth announcement from Juju, how do I finish it? It has an envelope back, I believe, is the way the pattern is. It depends, because it's a little wall hanging. I'm pretty sure they're an envelope back. So here's my hand stitching on my antenna. Oh, look how nice that is. If you're using a baby lock or a brother, exquisite. Oh, Cindy, yeah, exquisite. I use it all the time. Matter of fact, that's what's in the machine right now. I use Glide and Exquisite. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, and now for my butterfly pieces. Let me make sure this is the right mauve. Yes. Okay. And these butterfly pieces, because they don't overlap, they just touch, I put them together. They're placement lines at the same time. So you can make yourself more efficient, which is, I love being efficient. I think that's fabulous. And then maybe later today, I don't know, or maybe tomorrow we'll bind it. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, here's the placement lines for this. Let's see. You're watching from Italy. Wow, Diane. Oh, that's right. You said you were going over there. Fantastic. Diane's my worldwide traveler who watches. All right, last two pieces of applique. And these are kind of small, so I will use my tweet. The body is super small. See that little body piece? That's really dinky. Oh, that's not the last two pieces. I have the body to go. Get these. You really don't want to remove that body from that board because, oh my goodness. All right. Just easier with the tweezers. So cute. Now on the image, the body didn't match the size. I never could get that right. But you know what? It doesn't matter because you don't see the image. It's not here in the design, right? It's just a guide. And if it doesn't match exactly, it doesn't match exactly. It's fine. I do want my two pieces pretty close. There we go. Smush, don't swish. They'll move around. Love, love, love. Okay. And it's going to blanket stitch both of these at the same time. I have used Floriani thread, a net in this luminaire, and I ended up, it didn't do well, even with an organ needle. It did not. I'm exactly like you, Annette. Well, so Baby Lock and Brother are made in the same factory in Taiwan. And it doesn't surprise me that the Floriani thread did not work. We got a whole bunch of Floriani thread when years and years ago we had purchased a Janome multi-needle, and it worked great in the Janome. It worked great in there. This machine, it drove me crazy. So I sold it. I put it in a big bundle and I sold it for less than for like right at $1 a spool on the store site. Where's I have a pretty plum color. Where's the tail? Good grief. If I ever use this, this is exquisite. This is exquisite thread. Use it all the time. Gosh, I haven't used this in a long time. I usually don't do a lot of dark colors except for black. Of course, black isn't a color. Absence of color, right? For you graphic nerds. Okay. So we've got the body for the butterfly and then the eyes on the birds. And then we'll be finished. What's going on here? What happened? What happened? It got itself kind of goofed up. Let's try it again. Got a little fuzzy there. I'm not a fan of. There we go. Good. Whoop. There it is. We got a little fuzz. Perfect. I had to remind, when I was putting my butterfly together, I was like, oh yeah, don't forget to put that little body center of the wing pieces because it was a little off and I almost missed it. Okay, that's the end of the applique pieces. Oh, isn't that cute? The little knots in his antenna look like a little head. How cute. Come on now. This is the one that I made the stitches super small. Don't move. There. Okay. There. That looks good. All right. And then little black fills for the eyeballs, and we're done. Plus, having all of the threads in one bin makes it very easy to put them all away. I don't have to run around looking for thread spools because you know how we get, right? They kind of go everywhere. Why did I put that over there? I don't know. It just happens. So here's the fill. That's that little circle. Just hold down your shift key and drag a circle and it makes a perfect circle. This hands down beats going around each individual piece with a domestic machine all day long. Can I show trimming this with the trimmer by George? Yeah, I'll do that. Yay, all done. Okay. Let's take a look at my stitching. Fantastic. Yeah. I can't do trimmer by George on this one. It won't work because this is going to be trimmed to a 7x7 and my stitching goes all the way out to an 8-inch design. I can do it on the boot. I can't do it on this one. So I'll show you that. Okay. Let's get in here and take a look at our finished product, y'all. I am so thrilled with this. Let's get in here and see. All right. Look at my little antenna, how perfect those turned out. That's my hand stitching, y'all. Look at the precision. I need to trim the top of that this guy up here. I've got to trim that off. Okay. And the blanket stitches are perfect. The stems stop right just at the edge of the eggs, which is what I want. It turned out absolutely beautiful. See the little jump stitches there on the feet? I'm going to get those out with my little snips. Yep. Tooltron. That's who makes those up in Bulverde, Texas. Tooltron.com. I am just absolutely thrilled with this. It turned out so, so pretty. So the time it took me to go through and draw, if you're doing this and you're drawing those little fern things, leaves, like I showed you when we started this video, as it gets tedious, which it does, just remind yourself, how long would this take me to do pretty by hand, right? How long would that take me? And the result would not be near as beautiful as this is, because that's what power tools with thread are for, right? So I absolutely love this Snapplique method. And Snapplique, again, is when you don't have an embroidery design. You cannot Snapplique a Designs by Juju or a Sweet Pea or anything. If you want to pre-cut your pieces by creating SVG files in Embrilliance, then go for it if you're doing some of their applique. But you already have the embroidery design from the digitizer, okay, regardless of who it is. But in this one, there is no embroidery design. I started with a paper pattern and scanned it into the scan and cut, created the embroidery design. I'm missing some stitches on the bottom of the top chick. Oh, I might be. You know what? You're absolutely right. Good eagle eye. Let me show you that. Why do you think that is? Let's have class. Why am I missing stitches on the top chick? She saw that right here. What did I do wrong right there? Any ideas? I'm going to give you guys a second. You do need to make it, Julie. It's adorable. Okay. Did I trademark the word Snapplique? Yes, I did. It is mine. Okay. So, no, not that it doesn't have any feet. Nope. The overlap, correct. So, Elizabeth, that's right. It should be under the egg. So what was the problem when I did it in Embrilliance? What was the problem? Yep, the chick should be under the egg, I think. So what would be the problem? Stitch order. In the objects panel in Embrilliance, the stitch order was wrong. I should have put this chick below or put this egg above in the stitch order. That was the problem. So that was the issue. If I had changed the stitch order so the chick was under, if the chick should stitch before this first egg. Now, Elaine says, am I going to fill them in by hand? Girlfriend, nobody's going to get that close to it. And I promise you, next Easter, I won't remember it, and I'm not looking that hard. So no, I'm not fixing this. It's fine as far as I'm concerned. I love it. So that's the thing. You have to think about stitch order. I didn't even notice it until you guys pointed it out. Okay. Debbie says not happening in stitch order. That's the problem. So you need to make sure as you go through on the stitch simulator and take a look, is everything in the absolute right stitch order? While the pieces on the pattern are numbered, okay, all that were numbered were the leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, and the eggs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The chick was not numbered for me, and I missed it, and it happens, but that's okay. It's still absolutely beautiful, and nobody's going to see it, right? So my cameras, yeah, I use pretty good. Never see it on a galloping horse. That's right. Y'all, this is adorable. I love it. I could manually stitch, Suzanne, and if you think I'm doing that, you haven't been watching me very long. Right. The chick should have been under, but other than that, it's perfect, Wendy. I absolutely love it. All right, you guys, this has been, oh, I was going to show you how I cut using a trimmer by George. We can do that on the boot block. Let me show you how. Okay. So it happens. I know, Michelle. Yeah, it absolutely happens. Okay. Now, if I remember, this is not, I'm going to have to pull out that outer stitching. I didn't do the right size background on this. Didn't do it right. I might have to restitch this because it's the wrong size. This is the wrong size. So with a trimmer by George, I'm going to have to remake this, I think. I'll do it on the multi-needle. It won't take me that long. So the beauty of the trimmer by George, okay. Now, I made this one in the motorhome, and I already trimmed away the batting, right? That's what I did in the motorhome. I manually trimmed away the batting. So this thing, I don't know. I could just get rid of this, and I think it'll be fine. So to do the trimmer by George, what you do is you want to take this metal, it has a metal lip, okay? And it's got lines on it for measurements. So you just pull up your fabric and you put it like this, and you run that like that and fold it over, okay? And you have to use the 60 millimeter rotary cutter to get a good cut if you're using the Olfa. So you just run this right like that, and it trims it. And then you can flip this over and use your measurements to trim the line that you want. Okay. Flip this up. So if I had not have trimmed the batting, then I would be trimming both the stabilizer and the batting at the same time. Like on, let me see. So like on this one, see, it has a stitch in it, and so I can't pull the batting away, right? Because it has that stitch. Let me see if I can pull that out. That's why I can't do it on that other, on the one we just did, because I've got stitching that comes all the way out here and it won't let me trim it. So it would trim away the batting and the stabilizer at the same time, which makes your life so easy when you have a lot of blocks that have to be trimmed. This is an ingenious, now this is proprietary to Hoops Sisters. I'm doing a thing with them this fall too. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's this fall coming up. Okay. All right. And then you can just flop this over like this and get your seams the way you want and trim it up. And you're doing it all in one spot. So that's how you work a trimmer by George. And look how close you got to your stitch line. It turned out just beautiful. Yeah. It's a fantastic tool when you've got in the hoop projects like this that you need to do. So, yeah. It is the best money spent, y'all. And it's not that much. If you consider the expense of acrylic, that's $40. That's a deal. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for spending your time. Where's my chicks? I love them. I think this turned out just adorable. Now it bothers me about the yellow stitches. Thanks a lot. Pointing it out. It's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. Now you watch. I'm going to go over there, put some yellow thread in that machine. No, I can't do it in that one. I have to do it in this one because it's a blanket stitch. Oh, well. I'm going to leave it. I'm leaving it. All right, you guys, thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, and then hit the bell for notifications so we can spend more time together. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow morning. Go sew something. Bye.